Hi class! This evening we're going to be looking at lesson 8.2, Problem Solving Use Multiplication. So let's begin by taking a look at our essential question, how can the strategy draw a diagram help you solve fraction division problems by writing a multiplication sentence? So we're going to get started by taking our look at our Unlock the Problem. It says, Erica makes 6 submarine sandwiches and cuts each sandwich into thirds. How many 1/3 size sandwich pieces does she have? Well, we know we need to get started by figuring out what our question is that we need to answer. And we always identify that by the question mark. How many 1/3 size sandwich pieces does she have? Now let's look at some other key information. It says that she makes 6 submarine sandwiches and cuts each sandwich into thirds. We know that thirds is represented by the fraction 1/3. So let's begin by breaking the problem apart. So we've already read the problem, so now what is it that we need to find? We need to find the number of 1/3 size sandwich pieces Erica has after she cuts 6 sandwiches into thirds. So what information do I need to use? Well, I need to use the size of each piece of sandwich and the number of sandwiches she cuts. So now how will I use the information? I can draw a diagram to organize the information from the problem. Then I can use the organized information to find the number of 1/3 size sandwich pieces Erica has after she cut 6 sandwiches. So let's break it apart to solve the problem. Since Erica cut 6 submarine sandwiches, my diagram needs to show 6 rectangles to represent the sandwiches. I can divide each of the 6 rectangles into thirds. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rectangles, and each one is cut into 1, 2, 3, or thirds. To find the total number of thirds in the 6 rectangles, I can multiply the number of thirds in each rectangle by the number of rectangles. For example, it would be 6 divided by 1/3, but that will equal 6 times 3. And we know that 6 times 3 equals 18. So Erica has 18 1/3 size sandwich pieces. So let's take a look at another problem. Roberto is cutting 3 blueberry pies into halves to give to his neighbors. How many neighbors will get a 1/2 size pie piece? So let's break the problem apart again. Well, we've already read the problem, so what do I need to find? Well, we noticed that our question in the word problem was how many neighbors will get a 1/2 size pie piece? So that then becomes what it is we need to find. So the next question, what information do I need to use? Well, I need to use the size of each piece of pie, which if we look up here, he's cutting it into halves, and the number of pies Roberto is cutting. And if we refer back to our word problem, we see that he is cutting 3 blueberry pies. So the next question is, how will I use the information? Well, I can draw a diagram to organize the information from the problem. Then I can use the diagram to find the number of neighbors that will get a 1/2 size piece. So let's come over here and solve the problem. Since Roberto is cutting 3 pies, my diagram needs to show 3 circles to represent the pies. And there's my 3 circles to represent the pies. I can divide each of the 3 circles into halves. Now to find the total number of halves in the three circles, I can multiply the number of halves in each circle by the number of circles. For example, we have 3 circles and 2 halves in each circle. So our multiplication problem would be 3 times 2 equals 6. So 6 neighbors will get a 1/2 size pie piece. Now we can explain how the diagram you drew for the division problem helps you write a multiplication sentence. And one of the explanations for that is the diagram shows 3 groups of 2 halves. So I can use multiplication to find the total number of halves in the 3 groups. So now let's go ahead and get those math journals out. We have a few notes here regarding dividing fractions with models. So you can go ahead and push pause and copy the notes down into your math journals. Okay, and today's password for today's lesson is to answer the following word problem. Gina is hiking from park headquarters to Blue Lake. She hiked 1/2 the distance yesterday and another 1/3 today. What fraction of the total distance remains for her to hike tomorrow? Is it 1/6, 2/5, 3/5, 5/6? Go ahead and answer this word problem. Be sure you record it and bring it with you to class tomorrow. See you then.